Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. How y'all doing? You guys probably thought we forgot about Mrs. Schabusiness, right? The lady who kind of removed the head from her boyfriend. We're getting straight back into this case. Now, we're going into one of her good friends, apparently. His name was Alexander Gannon, or for short, AJ. I don't know how that works. But, anyways, I mean, the dude is super weird. And I mean, Shabusiness is going to be. She's gonna be being herself, you're gonna see some wild shit in this one. So let's get straight into this. The guy just screams weirdo from the start, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Shout out everybody on my Patreon. I love you guys as well. If you guys are interested, obviously the link is always below. Also go check out the Instagram, and hey, get your snacks, get your popcorn. I got the H2O, nothing much. It's gonna be a good one. Let's go.
Can I speak right now?
Yes.
My name is Alexander Gannon.
Okay, the witness is yours, Mr. Saunders. I introduced you as AJ. Is that a preferred nickname you go by?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but your proper name is Alexander.
Yes.
Okay. So is it okay if I call you AJ?
That's fine.
All right. So AJ, how old are you?
25.
Do you live in the Green Bay area?
Yes.
Did you grow up here as well?
Yes.
Did you go to high school and middle school here?
Yes.
AJ, do you know somebody by the name of Shad Therian?
Yes.
And how do you know Shad?
I've known him since middle school.
And what middle school?
First of all, bro, this is like, and first of all, I mean, I said that twice. The first thing off is that this dude openly admits to having mental issues. So it's him, Shad, and Shabusiness. This is like the mental illness crew. Like, what is going on? Like, this can't be a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, everybody just all hanging out with each other's problems. Like, I don't know. But anyway, they all know each other from middle school, which is so weird to me. Like, how are you gonna be able to dismember someone you know basically your whole life? Like, it's crazy to me. But anyway, let's keep going. It's gonna be nice to see his perspective of her. As much as he wants to hold back, he has to answer somewhat. So let's see what he's got to say.
Did you go to school with him at?
I think I saw him before a couple times in like intermediate, but we mainly ran up at Bayview.
Okay. Bayview Middle School?
Yeah.
Okay. And throughout, schooling, and I guess now you're an adult, did you keep in touch with Shad?
Well, after about maybe it was the first year I moved into my apartment was when I started really connecting with a lot of people from that I've ran into or I've talked with, and Chad was one of them.
Okay. So there's a reacquainting period, I guess?
Yes.
All right. AJ, do you also know somebody named Taylor Coronado or Shabusiness?
Yes.
And how do you know?
There's the last name. I always keep calling her Shabusiness. We need to actually officially just call this lady Coronado. Give her the real last name. Like, what the fuck is Shabusiness? What is a Shabusiness? Taylor Coronado. That sounds a lot more fitting to her.
No, her.
Since middle school.
Similar to Shad.
Yes.
Did you remain kind of friendly with Taylor as well?
Yes.
Sorry, is that a yes?
Yes.
Sorry. So, AJ, I want to ask you about February 21st of 2022. It was a Monday. Do you recall the date I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know when this happened, but I don't know.
Sure. So, do you recall a day where you were, I guess, hanging out with Shad and Taylor?
Okay, I didn't. You were saying the date, but I didn't.
Sure.
In that context. So.
Sure.
Sure.
So I want to ask you then, let's get this way. At some point, did you become aware that Shad had passed away?
It was only after when the day before I was heading out to vacation to see my parents, my dad specifically.
All right. And was that in February of 22?
No, it was like a week after. I think it was. So it was in February. No, I went. I had vacation in June, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. I have like a lot of like mental problems.
Sure.
So it's like hard to like keep a constant catalog of.
I'm sorry, that bullshit. Oh, I have a lot of mental problems, so I could just shut down and not do anything. That's what a lot of people are trying to use, especially in court. They're gonna try that shit every time, even though that's like probably the worst route to go because they're gonna lock you up in some type of psych ward. The mental problems is not the way you want to go, for sure. Not in this situation.
Memories.
Sure. So, are you referring to when you learned that Shad had passed?
All I knew was it was like a week. It was a week after, like something like that. I don't know for sure. All I knew was basically the day after, a couple days after, I was going to the Eastman apartment buildings because that's where I knew Taylor was at the time. And ironically, the same day that I went there, the police were knocking on my door, specifically.
So he hangs out with them. A couple days later, Shad is dead. So you already know what they were doing. They're all over there doing some meth. He was like, you know what? I should probably go over there and smoke some meth with the gang. You know what I mean? The same day he goes over there is the same day the police are looking for him. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably lucky he didn't go. I mean, unless he was like as bad as Schabusiness. But no, I think she was on a whole different level.
Trying to get into reach for me with this situation. And the only thing that I knew at the time was basically they asked if I knew the whereabouts of Shad and Taylor. So like that's like the closest thing I can remember. It's just
Sure. And I know we're talking about something a long time ago, and dates may be a little fuzzy. Is that fair?
yeah, it's just sure you don't.
So that time you were talking about where law enforcement was asking you some questions, do you remember telling them about a time you were hanging out with Shad and Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. I was drinking a little bit belligerently, so it's the only time that I looked at like the clock was like before I left my apartment. So it was like after 10:30, around that time frame. And like basically it was like I just decided to stop dissociating a lot, and I felt bad for not talking to a whole lot of friends that I used to talk to, like Taylor and Chad. So I just hit up Taylor randomly. I was like, hey, like, what's up? You going to hang out? And then basically I went over to the apartments and
did some meth.
when specifically when I got there, we were just chilling, chopping it up, like how we always do. And basically, I was like,
look at her face. She cannot hold it in. Just chopping it up like we usually do. Now, I don't know. Everybody in the comments in these videos, not even in my comments, obviously, I haven't posted it yet, but you guys let me know. Like, was he intentionally saying that? Like, obviously she chopped his ass up and did a whole bunch of crazy shit, but like, he was like, I just went over there and we're just chopping it up. Like, no, the more I say it, the more it kind of sounds like he might have been loading that up. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. I'm gonna back it up. It kind of came off kind of naturally, because I might say it every once in a while. I just chopped it up with my friend a little bit. Whatever. I don't know. Let's back it up. Let me know what you guys think.
we were just chilling, chopping it up, like how we always do. And basically,
oh my god, my computer is freaking out. Hold on.
I was in Specifically, when I got there, we were just chilling, chopping it up,
Chopping it up.
like how we always do. And basically,
She can't hold it in.
like,
That shit is so funny to her. That shit is knocking her out, huh? Stupid ass. You know what I think though? You know what I really think? She's trying so hard to put on this laugh and this smile to make herself look crazy, but she really just looks like a dumbass because come on, we know you're not really crazy, Taylor. We know you're not really crazy. You just wanted to do that shit.
I was asking like, do you wanna hang out with Shad? She was asking me like for consent to hang out with Shad, to bring him over, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. And so
Could I stop you right there? I'm sorry. I just have a quick question. So when you said you were at the apartment, which apartment is this?
the Meadowview East apartments.
Okay. Is that kind of where you thought Taylor was staying, or whose apartment was it?
It was it was the same apartments that I lived there. So it was like I'm sorry, what?
Sure. So
What the fuck did he just say? Yo, my guy is like, what?
It's on Eastman that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I interrupted. You were with Taylor, and then she brought up hanging out with Shad?
Yeah.
Did you meet up with Shad that night?
Yes, I did.
And where were you sort of hanging out with Shad then?
We picked him up, went back to the apartment, and was just chopping it up.
Is that the same apartment you were just talking about?
Yes.
All right. And I want to date myself. Chopping it up, what does that mean?
Oh, it's just like kicking it, talking about whatever. Just
I love how the defense stops him. He's like chopping it up. What does that mean? You know what I mean? I think he might really just be talking like that, but I don't know. Like, given the circumstances, I wouldn't really be saying chopping it up right now.
small talk or anything. Just
Okay.
just kind of having conversation.
Is it a pretty good, chill atmosphere?
Yeah, it was a good vibe.
No major issues or anything that stick out to you?
I never saw one thing that night.
Kind of Shad was acting normal.
Yes, he was.
Taylor was acting normal.
Yes.
And you said this was about 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night?
This was when I went to the apartment, like around that time frame.
And this is still the apartment on Eastman?
Yes.
Okay. And then...
You know what? I don't think he's trying to be evasive. I think he's just kind of always high, a little bit. He might just be kind of hazy from last night. I feel like he's just trying to hold it together, and he really doesn't really remember. Because remember, it's trial right now. It's been like what, like a year now or something. It's been a little while, so like his memory might not fully be there. And if he does like a lot of drugs and actually has mental issues, and he's not just claiming it, then I don't know. He seems like a weird fucking dude, but he doesn't seem like he's like hiding anything, Like he went over there, they hung out, everything seemed normal. That's all he's pretty much saying right now. And we were just chopping it up, just, small talk, just chopping it up. That's the only weird shit that I could point out right now, but let's continue.
You leave that apartment?
I left. I did leave. I left. Probably like at least maybe like a couple hours, maybe until like 1, 2 in the morning. I don't know for sure. It's like I said, I only looked at the time before I left the apartment, and I was a little drunk. So.
Okay. But at some point you left the apartment. Were Shad and Taylor still at the apartment when you left?
From what I saw, I don't know, but that's what, yes, from what I saw.
And then after that point, had you ever seen Shad again?
What?
After that point, after you left that apartment, had you ever seen Shad again?
No. Ironically, I hit him up the day after, or like a couple days, like the first week into the situation, and I call him. I message him about a song that he posted on his Facebook, which was like some it was like some rap song that I like. And I was like, yeah. I just like randomly sent him a message that day. I was like, yeah, this shit's dope. And then I was like feeling a little when I don't have people talking to me a whole lot, I get a little anxious. And now I'm like, hey, what's up? Like I'm a little concerned immediately.
Okay.
But like I didn't realize until after my friend mentioned to me specifically about what happened.
Damn, imagine you're hanging out with the chick who killed Shad. That shit must be wild. Like, to think about it, he's lucky to have left that bitch at 1 o'clock. He said he was a little drunk. He had a good time. Vibes are good. Maybe he's not really a meth type of guy, so it was just, alcohol maybe, And he got up out of there. He could have been victim number 2. Who knows what the fuck Taylor was on? Like, this chick is wild, bro. So that's interesting. So he leaves. Maybe it's that very night. I'm not sure. You guys let me know. But shortly after, they go on their binge, and she does her situation with him. That's crazy. Imagine hitting him up about a song, and he's just dead, and you're just talking to the air, but you think he's still alive. That must be a weird ass feeling. But
And I'm sorry, I'm jumping around in here. I want to go back to when it was you and Taylor, and
Yes.
you went to go pick up Shad. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How did you pick up Shad?
Me?
How did you and Taylor go and pick him up?
Okay. Well, we took a minivan.
Who drove?
Taylor.
Do you know whose minivan that was?
No.
Okay. Was it a minivan that was at that apartment that you were at?
Yes.
And you went to Shad's house to pick him up?
Yes.
Thank you, AJ. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Furlick, do you have any questions? Yes, I do.
yeah, you know what? It's he's an interesting individual. I'll tell you one thing though. I think he's just kind of halfway fried. Every time he's like, I don't really remember. Oh, it's been so long. Wait, what did you say again? Like, I think he's just a little fried, and you kind of have to like work it into him because, like he said, he's not the most mentally stable person in the planet. That just gives him more credibility to me. Like he's letting like, hey, I'm not the most mentally stable, so good luck with that. But anyways, let's move over to the defense. Let's see what they have to say. I mean, honestly, every time the defense starts asking questions, I don't even get the point of it because it always feels like they don't have any defense, But let's see what they got to say.
Mr. Gannon, good afternoon.
Look at her face.
You knew Taylor and Shad since middle school,
Yes.
and you went to school at Bayview Middle School, yes?
Yes.
And then did you go to high school together as well?
A little bit until the freshman year.
Okay. Did you go?
I went to 3 different high schools in my freshman year,
Okay.
so
Did-
it's bouncing a lot.
That's okay. Did you go to high school with Taylor Schabusiness
Yes.
at Bayport?
Yes.
And you kind of knew her pretty well, correct?
Yes. Enough to associate with her.
You were friends with her?
Yeah, to associate and be friends with. Yes.
And was it your understanding that at least in high school, Shad Therian and Taylor Schabusiness kind of were boyfriend and girlfriend? They dated a little bit?
Yes. I don't know how the connection between them, but it seemed like at the time after the breakup with Corey, it seems like that's like the only person that she always chill with sometimes. That's like whenever I see Shad, more times over, especially when he's like chilling, I see Taylor or a couple other friends.
That's crazy. Imagine having your right hand kill you. You know what I mean? Your right hand man. In this case, your right hand woman. You're friends with benefits. You guys fucked each other a couple times in high school. You guys are really close. You're really tight over the years. That didn't really mess up the relationship. You guys are still good. Then all of a sudden, you get freaky one night and then she just strangles you. Like, what the fuck? Like, I would be so game over right there. Like, what are we doing right now? Which is why I don't really understand this case. Like, I keep looking at her smile, and she's all. I know that smile is fake. I promise. I guarantee you that smile is fake. That whole little, oh, this is so belittling to just laugh at. It's just so easy to laugh at. It's so stupid. That's all fake. I know she's panicking deep down. That whole smile thing is her trying to get that insanity. That's what I'm banking on. I'm pretty sure that's what that's all about. If she wasn't trying to get that, she'd be over there, sad face, long, worried about going to jail. But I don't know. So, like, this guy kind of just shows how like she switched up on everybody, because it seemed on both ends almost that they were cool. Shad and Taylor had zero problems.
In that circle in there.
Okay.
They were pretty cool people.
Sure. Did you sometimes go over to Shad Therian's mother's house, Tara Pakinich on Stony Brook Lane?
Yeah, the year that I moved out, I visited a couple times, at least a handful of times.
Okay. Would you go over there to maybe eat or play video games and watch TV?
We wouldn't do a whole lot, but I just came. Typically, I was like the runt that would just be chilling with the whole pack, basically, of dogs that we're chilling with. You know what I'm saying? So
You just kind of hang out with the group?
yeah, just hanging out with the group.
Okay, all right.
Taylor, stop laughing. Ew.
Would you sometimes go over to Shad's father's house, Michael Therian's house?
Yes.
Okay. And was it such that Shad Therian, he lived with his father, Michael Therian?
At the time that I heard of, yes.
So you had been to Shad's father's house and Shad's mother's house, correct?
Yes.
And fair to say that you'd been over to the apartment on Eastman Avenue where Taylor Schabusiness was living, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And sir, you'd go over to that residence to kind of chill or hang out, listen to music, watch TV, whatever, correct?
Yeah.
You had Taylor's phone number?
I had her Facebook.
Okay. And as far as Shad Therian, you had his phone number or Facebook information?
Yeah, I had his Facebook at the time too.
Fair to say that all three of you, yourself, Mr. Gannon, Taylor Schabusiness, and Shad Therian, you all had each other's contact information, correct?
Yes.
She gained weight in jail. If you look at old pictures of Taylor Schabusiness, she was all like slim, all that. What is with prisoners going to jail and gaining so much weight? And I know the food can't be that good, so what is actually happening? Because I know if I went in there, I would be eating less, unless I was getting hella care packages. And I don't know who's there to care package Schabusiness. Her husband is in jail. Her dad in jail. Her brother not here anymore, deceased. Like, man, like, it would talk about family life being in shambles. Like, that's why I don't know how she could sit there and smile about this. I don't even know how she could have did it in the first place. Like, why? That's the main question. And most of the trials we cover, there's like clear motive that I at least see, but I'm not seeing any real motive. It's just like, what? You were sexually turned on by it. That's it? Like, it's a little weird. What, you guys give me your comments as to the motive for her really, doing that. Was it just out of gratification or was it something deeper? But I don't know.
After a rough patch with a friend, I was chilling. I just started dissociating, and I do that a lot for the past 10, 20 years. I just if I feel like people don't, if there's a sort of discrepancy, I just cut you off. It's block.
Where they would be using marijuana together? Where they would be using marijuana together, correct?
Yeah.
Was it such that there were times when maybe you'd be hanging out with Taylor and Shad where they would be using marijuana together?
Prior
Yes.
acts aren't
Wait.
Um.
No.
Stop.
Your Honor, I'll withdraw.
Thank you.
Question's withdrawn. Okay, ask another question, Mr. Freilich.
Did you see Taylor Schabusiness on February 23rd of 2022?
February 23rd?
Yes.
No.
How about the day before on February 22nd of 2022?
No.
You saw her on February 21st of 2022, correct? That was a Monday?
I don't know what day that was.
Okay.
That's just a little bit too out of my polymath. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I could promise you that he was smoking that weed with him because my guy is out here just that's the one thing I don't like about him, bro. Like, come on, sober up for court date, bro. Like, save the blunt for after court. Like, shit.
But you did all hang out together and you drove over to Michael Therian's house. Is that your testimony?
Michael Therian?
Yes.
I think, like, all I remember. I don't know.
Okay.
So
You're not good with dates, correct?
I'm better with dates, just not like recently up for like the past 5-10
Okay.
years. So
That's fine. So, prior to you being told that
See, he's consistent. That's why I don't think he's lying to anybody. Everybody, I noticed that a lot of people are trying to say like, "Oh, he's evading questions. He's not trying to answer questions." But I mean, defense and offense, he's giving the same shit. He's like, "Bro, I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna just tell you what I know." You know what I mean? And it could be that he's trying to keep himself out of it as much as possible. If by chance he may have, maybe he saw something that he could have did to prevent things from getting worse, or maybe he was a part of something that made things get bad. Maybe he's trying to keep himself out of that. But if he's not, then he's just some dude who just can't really remember too well because he's keeping it G on both sides. Like, he's not really switching up.
Was deceased. The days before you were told that, you were hanging out with Shad and Taylor, correct?
yes,
And did you notice anything odd about Taylor as far as her mannerisms, her eyes, her speech, anything like that?
no,
Did you have any feelings that she was acting weird when you had contact with her? Bizarre?
no.
Yeah, no. See, they're just going to keep asking these questions. And my thing is, I feel like she had this fantasy for a while. Like, things like this don't just happen out of nowhere. So I feel like, she was thinking about it, keeping it a secret. Something in her childhood fucked her up because I know there's a lot of things that she went through. Lost her mom, lost her dad to jail, lost her brother. Who knows? I heard a lot of rumors in the comments that I'm not even going to repeat because I don't even know if they're true. But long story short, I feel like she got that, like Jeffrey Dahmer said before, like it starts off with a little deviation in your appetite and then it just spirals out of control. And I think something happened there. And she finally one day said, you know what? I want to take this, this bondage shit or, this whatever we're doing to the next level, So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Weird ass friend over there. There are a whole bunch of weirdos. Like, if you were in high school and you saw these three, these would be like, they wouldn't even be the emo kids. These would be like the mental kids. That's what we're gonna call them, the mental gang, because these dudes are weird. But anyways, people, check on your kids. Make sure everything is all right and tight up there. You know what I mean? But until the next one, people, I love y'all. Stay inside, stay safe. Take a good look at your friends. Be very careful on the ones you choose to, get intoxicated with. Especially getting intoxicated where you're not really going to be fully in control. Make sure those people are the ones that you really trust. You know what I mean? But anyways, y'all, I'm out of here.